As we have been visiting the configuration section in these lessons, you have been seeing an error message. That error message says one or more problems have been detected with your Drupal site. Check the status report for more information. Notice that status report is linked, and clicking on that link will give us some helpful information. I'm going to scroll down here and try to see where that error might be coming from. Fortunately, it's very kindly made red so that I can see it very quickly. It says trusted host settings are not enabled. The status report is also typically very helpful in that it gives you an idea of what's wrong and where you can go to find out more information about how to fix it. So here it tells us the trusted host pattern setting is not configured in settings.php. So now we know that we need to go back to our settings.php file. It tells us that this can lead to security vulnerabilities. So while the site is functioning, we are leaving it open to security vulnerabilities, so we should probably fix this. It also gives us a link that we should probably follow that gives us more information about this specific vulnerability. So I'm going to take a look at this in a new tab. So here on Drupal.org in the documentation is a lot of information that I should probably read to find out why this is important and how I can make sure that I've done this correctly. So let's head back to our status report. Again, this is highlighted in red, and that's very helpful to us. So now we're going to head over to our settings.php file so that we can edit it. I'm using Coda as a text editor, and you can use whichever text editor you like as long as it's not a WYSIWYG that's going to insert invisible code into your file. So I'm going to quickly do a search for the word trusted so that I can find this. This drops me down to line 603 in the version of Drupal that I'm using right now. Notice that all of this is commented out, but it gives me a lot of information about how this needs to be written so that this will work properly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the code that it's recommending to me here, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom of my settings.php file and add this in here, right under databases. Now when I grabbed that, I grabbed these little stars. I don't want those. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those stars. And now what I need to do here is change the path to the path that is in my site. Right now, that path happens to be localhost port 888. So I'm going to grab that. I love copy and paste because it ensures that I won't have a typo. I'm going to set this here. I'm going to remove the http:// here and keep the little caret. And I don't need the example, but I am going to grab this backslash here and place it in front of the colon so that when the PHP is read, it knows that that colon is part of my URL and not something that should be understood in a different way. And then I can go ahead and get rid of the rest of the example here and save this. I don't have permission to edit this settings.php file, so I need to give myself permission for that. Now, since I'm working locally, I'm going to cheat and do this the easy way. In another lesson, we'll talk about permissions in more detail, and we won't just cheat and do this the easy way. For a production site, never do what I'm about to do. But for your own local development, this is okay because your local development will be on your machine and won't be exposed to the world. So now I'm going to tab over to Terminal, which is a command line tool that I have to make changes. And you'll see that I've already done this. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the permissions on the default directory to 777, which means read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute for individual, world, and group. And I'm going to change directory into the default directory. And I'm going to do the same thing on the settings.php file. Now we'll go back to Coda. I'm actually realizing that the port is probably going to cause a failure. So let's go ahead and save this and see what happens. And now it has accepted my save. Heading back over to Chrome, we're going to go ahead and reload this, and we get the provided host name is not valid for this server. So I'm correct. The port in that URL is causing an error. We're going to head back to Coda. We're going to remove that port. So now it's just localhost and save again. And then we'll head back to Chrome and reload. Now if we look at the status report and scroll down, we'll see that trusted host settings is enabled and we're no longer going to get that error message. In this lesson, we modified the settings.php file to resolve an error in our status report. We also identified how to find the information that we need from that error message so that we knew how to fix it and why we needed to fix this particular issue.